Hi everyone, for this video, I'll be describing non-contingent reinforcement or NCR and providing a 5-step implementation checklist. So think about non-contingent reinforcement as free reinforcement. So in other words, students don't need to earn non-contingent reinforcement contingent on expected behaviors. They can't lose non-contingent reinforcement contingent on undesired, unexpected behaviors. Sounds awesome, right? That's what we want our students to think. It's essentially free reinforcement designed to render problem behaviors irrelevant. So in other words, we want our students to think there's no need to engage in problem behaviors. My wants and needs are already being met through non-contingent reinforcement. Okay, so free reinforcement can't be taken away, doesn't need to be earned. So the 5 steps that you can do to implement non-contingent reinforcement with your students. Step number 1 is identify baseline rates of behavior. So how often is that problem behavior occurring? So let's say we have a student running out of the classroom approximately 3 times every hour. Okay, or maybe a student's engaging in property disruption, ripping down bulletin boards about 3 times every hour. Okay, so that's step number 1 is identifying baseline rates of the problem behavior. Step 2 is coming up with an initial schedule of reinforcement to provide through non-contingent reinforcement. So the rule is we want to provide reinforcement through NCR more frequently than the problem behavior is occurring. Otherwise, the student's likely to resort back to the problem behavior to meet their wants and needs. So in other words, if the student's engaging in problem behaviors about 3 times every hour, about once every 20 minutes, maybe we begin by providing non-contingent reinforcement every 15 minutes. Again, if we don't provide reinforcement more often than the problem behavior is occurring, the student's likely to resort to the problem behavior to meet their wants and needs. So problem behavior is happening about every 20 minutes. Non-contingent reinforcement initially should be provided about every 15 minutes. Okay, step number 3 is identifying the function or root cause of the behavior. What is it student accessing or avoiding that's maintaining or increasing rates of problem behavior? Okay, maybe that student is accessing attention. Okay, maybe they're avoiding or altogether escaping non-preferred tasks or activities. That's step 3. Okay, step 4 is identifying reinforcers to use as part of non-contingent reinforcement. It's really important that these reinforcers are function-based. Okay, so let's say our student is running out of the classroom to avoid or altogether escape tasks and activities. Okay, as part of non-contingent reinforcement, maybe that student has break cards. Okay, they're running out of the classroom about once every 20 minutes. Maybe they can use 4 break cards per hour, one about every 15 minutes to render it irrelevant to run out of the classroom. Why run out of the classroom? It's way easier to just use a break card and I still get to take that brief activity break. Maybe it's verbally requesting a brief activity break. Okay, let's say that student is ripping down bulletin boards to access attention. Okay, maybe we embed teacher check-ins. Okay, maybe we send students notes of encouragement from preferred adults around the school. Okay, maybe that student gets a certain number of passes to visit preferred adults. Okay, different things like that. Maybe it is radio calls with preferred adults. Okay, about every 15 minutes if the problem behavior is happening every 20 minutes, again, designed to render problem behavior irrelevant while engaged in a problem behavior where it's way easier to just get reinforcement on this non-contingent schedule. Okay, and step 5, really important is monitoring rates of the behavior moving forward, making sure that we're actually seeing a decrease in problem behaviors through non-contingent reinforcement procedures. If we're not seeing that decrease in problem behavior, we need to rethink our schedule of reinforcement. Are we providing reinforcement frequent enough through non-contingent reinforcement? We also need to go back and look at the function of the behavior. Is the reinforcement we're providing really function-based? I hope that's a helpful overview of non-contingent reinforcement. I'll talk to you all in the next video.